So I've been testing out this Cigman CT-1200 Pro rangefinder that the company sent out to me. Now they sent me out the CT-1200 regular version not too long ago and did a little review on that. If you guys want to check that out, link in the description box below. But they decided to send me out the Pro version. It's supposed to be an upgrade from the last version, so we're going to talk about that. And I actually took this out on a few rounds, was testing out a little bit, and just want to give you guys my thoughts. But before we get into all that, I just have to say that Cigman did send me out this rangefinder to test and review, but they don't get to look at this video before it's posted, and I get to give my raw and honest thoughts. And I made sure that and told them in the email that I was going to give my honest review on this thing, and they said they wanted nothing less. So do I like it? Do I love it? We're going to find out. So the Cigman, it comes in this box, and what you get in the box is going to be the basic normal things that you would get in any rangefinder box. You get a charging cable, a lanyard, lasso thingy, I don't know what that's really called, a carabiner, and there was a case in here, but I don't know where I put it. But that's pretty much it. Now talking about the rangefinder, right out the box, I mean, it's a very similar form factor to the original CT-1200, and honestly, it's like vastly similar. It's pretty much the exact same size. So if you guys look at that, it's identical in size, weight, pretty identical too. This 1200 Pro is slightly heavier because it has a little bit more of like some premium features like this. I don't even know what material this is. It's probably plastic, but it's a little upgraded viewfinder ring. Button configurations is pretty much the same. So one of the key differences that you'll see right off the bat is this massive screen that's on the side. I say massive relative to, you know, what we're talking about. These are fairly small rangefinders, but the screen takes up almost the entire side of the rangefinder. And they advertise this LCD screen to be a touchscreen, and I have to say touchscreen because it's not really a touchscreen, and we'll get into that here in a second. So the button configuration, it's going to be vastly similar to the 1200. You have two buttons at the top. One's going to be your mode button, how you cycle between different modes, slope adjustment, and all that good stuff. And then you have your trigger button, which is basically the button you hold to, you know, shoot the pin. Other than that, you have your LCD screen on the side, which, like I said, was touchscreen. Really not really a touchscreen because they have these little touch sensitive buttons here on the side where it's basically just like a back button and a unlock button. And then at the top you have your mode button. So basically when you turn this thing on, you have to, in order to use the touchscreen function, because it's locked on default, so you have to press and hold this back button, aka the lock button, for about 3 seconds. That'll unlock it, and then you're able to toggle the mode button and just switch between different modes. That's pretty much all the functionality that you're gonna get out of the touchscreen, which is kind of pointless because the mode button's on the top does the exact same thing as that touchscreen. But I guess it's nice to have a little bit of redundancy, and kind of pointless if you were to ask me. But I guess it's kind of nice that they put that in there for those people that like to touch things. The one thing that I did notice about the new Pro version that this one doesn't have, that the old one, or not the old one, but the original version did, it does have a magnet on the side, albeit that it is not a very strong magnet, but the Pro version doesn't have a magnet at all. So I'm not sure why they elected to take the magnet off of the Pro version. You would think that the Pro version would be magnetized, since that's one of like the key features that a lot of people love in their rangefinders, is that be able to magnetize this to the golf cart. But they decided to take that off of this one for reasons I don't know. And honestly, I was kind of hoping that they were going to make the magnet stronger for this one, but they decided to just go without it, which, you know, not sure what the inspiration behind that was, but, you know, to each their own. So you got your viewfinder on the side, and you have the little rubber door for your USB-C charger. Now this thing does not take any batteries, actual physical batteries, so it's chargeable only. So USB-C charging, that can be a pro and a con depending on your style and how you like to do things. I know a lot of people like to have physical batteries for their rangefinder, just in case you're out there on the golf course and your thing dies, you're able to just swap that out super easily and just keep mobbing and keep working with the rangefinder. But with ones that you can only charge, you're out there, it dies, and you have to hope that you brought charging cables with you, charge it in the cart, and you probably would be without a rangefinder for a hole or two. So give or take. There's some rangefinders that gives you the best of both worlds, where they have the USB charging and they have batteries just in case, so you get a little bit of redundancy and just some ease of mind, so you don't have to worry about either charging, keeping it charged, or having to bring extra batteries. You can kind of do both, so it's like the best of both worlds. But I will say with the magnetic rangefinder that it's chargeable. You're able to save on batteries, because I know sometimes in a lot of these rangefinders, putting batteries in these things can be a little bit of a hassle, especially those little smaller batteries that aren't super easy to just like have around. But yeah, there's that. Then on the front, obviously you're gonna have your magnifier, you're gonna have your laser at the top, which is pretty standard. And in terms of the configuration, that's pretty much it. Still all plastic configuration, similar to this. This one is slightly heavier just because I'm guessing the LCD screen and a little bit more added tech that they put into it, but very similar in weight and size. Still all plastic like the original. So talking about the features, it's just like your any standard rangefinder. It has slope. You can toggle slope on and off. That's always a cool thing. And it has a couple other modes on here that I'm not super sure about. They have these like angles that I guess I don't really know how to. I should have probably read the box. But yeah, one of the key things that they advertised was the touchscreen that we already talked about. This thing does have a 1,300 yard range, which in golf, I'm not sure why you would need that much. I think even 500 yards, if you're shooting the pin from 500 yards out, that's even crazy. So you have more than enough. So if you were not into golf and you were trying to take this thing out hunting, I guess that would be one of those things where it's like a key feature if you're like, doing all that type of stuff. But in terms of golf, you're going to be able to shoot the pin, no problem. And looking into the viewfinder, it's very easy to read the information that's in there on the screen. It does have a vibration feature, which is really nice. And I talked about it on this one because the screen on the side. So when this one, you point the flag, you hit the flag, you hit the pin or whatever, and then your number pops up on the side and it just gives you your distance to the flag, and that's it. Which, could be useful, but I already said that in this one, it only lasts on the side for like 10 seconds, which is not really all that useful. I'm not even sure why that is. This one, I'm happy to say it does last a little bit longer. I tested it out. It was like around 19-20 seconds. But, for me, I still feel like that isn't long enough just because this key feature would be super useful. Hitting the flag and then you put your hand down and you kind of, as a minute goes by and you forget what it was, you can easily just glance on the side and get your number. So now you only have 20 seconds in order to do that, which, whatever. I guess that saves battery life, but I would rather have that extended rather than worrying about battery life. But that's just me. Now, as far as accuracy goes, honestly, it's solid. I mean, this thing advertises to be within 1 to 2 yards of accuracy. And as I was testing it out, I think that's pretty accurate. And that's pretty much all you would really want in a rangefinder, something that's super accurate and that you can rely on. All the other gadgets and specialty things is kind of whatever, honestly. So yeah, the target acquisition is pretty quick. It has a blinking little circle on it. So once you have target lock, you just press the button and within like 0.5 seconds or a second, it'll vibrate and give you a reading, which is fairly quick. I know I'll also say too that I liked about it is there's some rangefinders that I've tested in the past where the stabilization wasn't all that great. So it was like really hard to try to lock in on the flag because the rangefinder was picking up on all those little micro jitter movements. But this one's pretty stable. Didn't have any problems getting the flag and getting the reading. So, and honestly, that's when you're talking about a rangefinder, especially in this price point, that's all you could really ask for. In terms of the display, I never really had any type of issues looking at it from the back of if you're looking at it in the viewfinder or on the LCD screen. So if you're worried about that, I think you should be pretty fine because I tested this thing. It was like pretty sunny, some harsh sunny conditions, and it was fine. Battery life. The battery life seems solid. I charged this thing once and I played 2 rounds with it, and it's still looking at, I still got 3 out of 4 bars, which is probably in that, around that 75 to 90 percentile. So battery life is solid. I feel like it'll last you a good number of rounds, so you don't have to keep worrying about charging this thing because really you're only taking this thing out, pointing the flag, and then putting it up. So battery life is solid, and it's advertised to only need like 3 hours or so to charge fully, which I feel like that's kind of long. I don't know if that's accurate. I have to double check that. But so my honest thoughts, and who is this thing made for? My honest thoughts is I think it's solid. I mean, this is not something that I would particularly go for if I was in the market for a new rangefinder, especially nowadays too, with all the technology and all these apps like the Grant 18 birdies that gives you your yardages and accuracy around the golf course using like GPS and things of that nature, which is typically fairly accurate. But if you want to get precise accuracy, rangefinders are something that you're going to want to keep in your golf bag just in case, especially on courses when they don't have, you know, the yardage on the screen on the golf carts, or if you're not using your app on the Grant or anything like that, you want to try to keep your phone away from you doing a round. Rangefinders are going to be one of those things that you're still going to need, honestly. But like I said, for me, it's not something that I would go with because, one, I don't like the form factor. It's way too small. I have really big hands. And two, plastic. I'm not a huge fan of the entire plastic construction. It's super light. It feels like it feels like a toy, honestly. It feels like you're not really holding anything. So in terms of the durability, I don't know how long this thing will last. I honestly, just because it's made of plastic and there's not a whole lot of moving components, I don't see it being a big issue in terms of durability. And there's no magnet on it, so you're less likely to leave this thing on the cart. So every time you use it, just put it back in your bag. Or I would say if you're a beginner golfer and you're just getting into the sport and you're looking to get a pickup on all this different equipment and gear, a rangefinder like this might be something that will suit you, just because A, you're brand new to the sport, so you don't want to spend a ton of money on really expensive rangefinders. And rangefinders can range from $600, $700, $800, $900 these days. So if you don't want to spend that type of money, you still want to get something that's accurate, that's going to get you by and get you going. Obviously, something like this is going to be right up your alley. Like I said, if I was a brand new golfer and I was just getting into the sport and I needed a rangefinder, something like this would be an easy pickup for me, honestly. For someone that's a little more seasoned, that's been in the game for a little bit, they're probably looking to getting something a little bit more on the expensive side, something that's a little more durable, a little more easy to use, and packs a ton of different type of features in it. But rangefinders are rangefinders. They're tools to help you navigate around the golf course and get some accurate numbers, so you're just knowing what club to pull. So if that's all you're really looking to do with it, then this little thing is perfect. It's priced great. It's only $100 on Amazon. $100 for something like this, I think, is a good deal, honestly. Again, not something for me because I've been playing for a while and I've used really expensive rangefinders. I've used cheap rangefinders. And for me, just a little bit of like the build quality is, I'm a little bit more of a premium type of guy. I like the finer things in life, I guess you can say. But like I said, if you're just getting into the sport and you need something to get you by for now, look no further, man. This thing is solid, and I think it'll be great for a lot of people out there that don't like spending a ton of money on golf equipment. So that's the review. If you found this video helpful, I appreciate if you guys hit me up with a like, drop a comment, and if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Would love to have you guys in here and build this community up. So head at me in the comments. Let's get some conversations going. And until next time, YouTube, we'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.